What's up guys and welcome. You are watching Fazi Fitness. So did Has Foda just start working with Stefan aka boss of Outlaw? So Stefan posted this recent update of Has Foda. And this could possibly mean one thing, that he now has another promising client in the men's open bodybuilding. So previously Stefan has been working with Nick Tonio, James Hollinghead and Martin-Fitzwater. And not to forget, he's also working with top classic physique competitors like Shinsky and Wesley Wiesers. So Stefan's name first got attention at such a high level when he started working with Shinsky, and the rest is history. So assuming that this news is true, with Has Foda switching coaches, I really wonder what convinced him to make this decision. Because up until this point, Hani Rembrandt was the one coaching him, and Hani is one of the greatest coaches of all time. And Foda was actually doing pretty well with Hani Rembrandt. So he placed 5th at Romania Pro last year, which was easily the best physique of his entire career. So the only knock on Has Foda is that he did not compete as much in the last 3 years as he should have. Because ever since he turned pro and made his debut, he did just one show after that, and that was of course Romania Pro. But here is the thing, he did put on a lot of size in this time span. And I have to tell you guys, this is all just speculation. I might be completely off here, as I am just going with a coach putting up an update of a certain athlete that was previously working with the best bodybuilder coach of all time, Hani Rembrandt, and I thought it was worth mentioning. So let's talk about another guy who's just started working with Stefan, like a month back, James Hollinghead from UK. So James used all this time after the Arnold Classic UK to clean out his system and detox. But at the same time, he did a pretty impressive job at holding on to that mass and a very decent conditioning as well. So his quads are still not at 100% because of that knee injury that he had while he was in prep for the Arnold Classic. But now he has been making progress in that aspect as well. So if you ask James, what was the best accomplishment of his pro career? I'm sure he's gonna say placing top 5 at the Arnold Classic in Columbus. And for those of you guys who do not know, he did that while coaching himself. He paid himself for that show. He was using his own protocols. So James was extremely impressive at the Arnold, Ohio, and by doing more trial and errors during that peak week for the Arnold Classic UK, and also in that phase post-Arnold UK, where he was trying different things to see what kind of conditioning can he achieve if he does not have any repeats. All that data really helped him a lot to better understand his body, to better understand how his metabolism works, how his body responds to a huge amount of carbs. So all that information is gonna come in a lot handy whenever James decides to step back on the stage in 2024. And I am really hoping that we will get to see him compete later this year, because he already took 2023 off. So the plan this year is to at least get to the Olympia stage and see how he stacks up against the current hierarchy of open bodybuilding competitors. So will he ever be a top 6 Olympia competitor, regardless of who coaches him? I have to say no, especially not in this kind of lineup. Because the kind of talent that we have now, especially in the last couple of years that we have seen, that is absolutely nuts. And even getting to the Olympia stage now, that is such a huge accomplishment. And the reason I'm saying that is because the kind of lineup that is developing for this year's Mr. Olympia, the top 8 sports are gonna be totally stacked. So expect Patrick Moore to return to the stage sooner than later, as he is 100% shooting to be on the Olympia stage this year. So Patrick has been moving some insane amount of weights in the gym, and his strength continues to show a positive trend. So these last set of progress pictures, which were at the peak point of his offseason, which were released by his coach, Dominic Cardone, I have to say he looked really impressive in those. Now his quads from the front could definitely use more size, more mass, but the overall size gains were extremely impressive. At least that is what it seems like going by these off-season pictures. And we will find out more about that when he dives down, when he gets into that stage-ready conditioning. So Patrick was one of the most classic-looking men's open bodybuilder when he first came onto the scene back in 2019. And he saw some good success as well in his rookie year, placing top 10 at your Olympia debut, when you are easily not the biggest guy on that stage. Because for the men's open standards, he was lacking a lot of size, but still he managed to place top 10, and that was a big deal. So throughout his career, there have been people asking him to do classic physique instead of open bodybuilding, which never made any sense. Because there is just no way a guy like Patrick can make the weight cutoff. I mean, he's probably gonna have to cut off one of his legs to do that. So Patrick is a former Cali Pro champion, but obviously he isn't doing that show in 2024. So the problem, in my opinion, with Patrick, especially in these last couple of years, isn't just his size. It's his conditioning as well, because he has never been truly shredded in any of the shows that he did last year or the year before that, especially if we compare him to what he brought in 2019. So all the mass that he has added in all those years, the thing is, it never translates on the stage because he isn't peaked right. He doesn't bring the conditioning. And maybe that is something that will change in 2024, and maybe we will finally see him peak right and bring his all-time best to the stage this year. Let's talk about Tonio Burton, who is the reigning New York Pro champion, and let's put some respect on his name, because it seems like people are really counting him out. Majority of the bodybuilding predictions that I have seen by so many legends of the sport, they do not even have Patrick in the top 3. But I have to say, unless he gets beaten by guys like Martin or Quentin Beastwood, it's just talk at this point. So all the new updates that Tonio has been posting, especially the one he posted a few hours ago, that makes him pretty confident in saying that he's probably gonna be better than what he looked like at the Arnold Classic South America earlier this year. So the head judge of the Olympia, Steve Weinberger, said that he sees a bit of Dexter Jackson in him. And I have been saying this for quite some time now, that he is so reminiscent of the Blade Dexter Jackson. And if we just go back and take a look at the career of Dexter Jackson, he kept on beating guys 30 pounds, 40 pounds heavier than him, and that happened throughout his career. And the reason was his ability to come in bone shredded every single time, his razor-sharp conditioning, and his ability to hold on to all that fullness. Hell, even back in 2020, when Big Ramy won his first Mr. Olympia. So before that Olympia, Ramy also did the Arnold, and so did Dexter Jackson. And Dexter was actually able to beat Big Ramy that year as well. And that is how great Dex was. So Tonio Burton is by far the most closest thing to Dexter Jackson that we have in the current times. He knows how to peak right, he knows how to bring the conditioning, he has those incredible round muscle bellies, he has that 3D look to his muscles, and most importantly, his back shots are gonna be so fire. Probably some of the best out there even in this lineup, which has a guy like Nick Walker in there, who has one of the best back shots in the men's open right now. And I believe this is where a guy like Quentin Beastwood is gonna lose the ground, against Tonio Burton, against Nick, against Martin. So what are your predictions for Tonio Burton? Will he be fighting Nick Walker for the top spot? Do let me know in the comments below. So shots are being fired towards Nick Walker from every direction now. So I told you guys that Pittsburgh Pro gets posing, and the opportunity that Martin got to stand next to Nick Walker, he grabbed that one with both hands, and he really made that count. And just because Nick Walker did not look as good or as shredded as Martin, and on top of that, Martin exposed Nick in terms of the shape, in terms of the flow, in terms of the overall aesthetics, and the fact that he has a smaller waist, and he had more control over his midsection. Martin seems more confident than ever, and we are now just only 2 days out of the show. So there is also a big debate going on the social media pages on what physique do people most prefer. So there is no denying the fact that Martin has some top tier aesthetics, and with all that mass that he has added in the last 1 year, he is extremely dangerous. So if I'm not mistaken, him and Tonio Burton are of the same height, and Martin today at 2 days out is weighing 237 pounds. So that is a lot of weight for a guy who has the same height as Tonio Burton, who was weighing 222 pounds at the Arnold Brazil. So Martin just started carbs loading yesterday. So this look is gonna drastically change come showtime. So the look that Martin brought to the stage at Detroit Pro, specifically at the finals, that was a killer one. And that is why all the judges had him in the solid first place after the finals. And the chances are he's probably gonna be even more shredded here at the New York Pro. But at the same time, he's probably gonna have a lot of fullness as well. So who would have thought that Nick Walker would get such fierce competition when he announced that he is doing the New York Pro? Now that being said, I still think Nick Walker is gonna win majority of the poses against everyone in this New York Pro lineup, and he is gonna win that show quite comfortably. So the side shorts are his, and so are the back shorts. So he's probably gonna win this show. Unless, of course, Quentin Beastwood does something totally unexpected, because he's the wild card in this lineup, because he hasn't been tested in the last couple of years. So hit the thumbs up button if you liked the video, and smash the subscribe button if you wanna come back for more. Thanks for watching.